Welcome again to the Old Principal. I am the Old Principal, and this is episode number 69. Choose your ruts carefully. We asked Mrs. Ash to come here. She's the storyteller, so we'll let her tell the story. Go ahead.
In the old days, before the modern highways we now see in America, there were many muddy and rutted sections of road. In one place, the road was so muddy and rutted that the farmers were often called out to help the cars hopelessly stuck in the mud. It must have been a funny sight to see a team of horses pulling the cars out of the mud. Finally, one frustrated farmer scrawled some words of warning and placed it in front of a particularly bad section of road. It read,
Choose your ruts carefully. You may be in them a long time.
Interestingly, the word rut has a double meaning. And every time Americans hear this little anecdote, they think of two things simultaneously. A rut is a deep track, almost like a ditch, left by the passage of many cars over a certain piece of road. But rut has another meaning, a fixed routine or course of action, especially regarded as dull and unrewarding. When I first read this little story, I was writing some encouragement to young people about choosing their marriage partners carefully. Nowadays, divorce rates are very high. Trading one's mate in on a new model seems to have swept our world by storm. It is my personal belief that marriage is a lifetime commitment. Even some wise man from ancient China said,
白头偕老,
meaning that one's commitment to one's spouse should last until he or she is old and gray. Many marriages that begin with high emotions and lofty hopes seem to get stuck in the ruts of daily living. When my dad was teaching me the rudiments of carpentry, he emphasized, measure twice and cut once. Marriage is one of life's most important decisions. Making a careful decision is very important.
Well, thank you. You've done well, and now it's my job to go to work and explain this. Okay?
Sure.
This is 69. Choose your ruts carefully. Okay, now in the old days before the modern highways we now see in America. Now, obviously, a long time ago, they didn't have gonglu, highways, okay? In fact, they were so bad that many were muddy. You know what muddy is? 泥巴 is mud, and muddy is what? It is 泥泞的, okay? And rutted, okay? Let's take a look here if we can show the picture one more time. The picture here is a rut. Okay, what is a rut? A rut is 车辙. Okay, do you see this? This is stone. 这个是石头。但是呢，车子一就过去，慢慢的会凹下去。Okay, so this is 车辙. This is a rut. In one place, the road was so muddy and so rutted, so many ruts. Okay, and the ruts were deep. You see, those are quite deep, you see. Okay, they were so deep that the farmers were often called out to help cars hopelessly stuck in the mud. Okay, what does it mean, hopelessly? Hopelessly means 没有希望. Okay, stuck is 现在, so they're down in the mud. Okay, 现在这个泥泞中啊. Okay, hopelessly stuck. It must have been a funny sight. 相当滑稽. Okay, sight, of course, 异幕. Okay, it must have been very funny to see a team of horses, 一堆马, okay, pulling the cars out of the mud. Okay, so you know why? Because a car is supposed to be able to do everything, right? No, not quite right. Because the old-fashioned, the 古老的马, horse, still could negotiate, could go over the mud much better. Finally, one frustrated farmer scrawled, 草草的写, to scrawl is to write kind of like, you know, not real,
Carefully.
不是正开的, but it's not, it doesn't look pretty, okay? 草草的写了几个字, 警告, okay? A few words of warning placed in front of a particularly bad section of road, 特别糟糕的这个路段. Okay? So there you have it. He's writing something. What is he writing? Here are the words that he wrote. Choose your ruts carefully. 要好好选你的车子. Okay? You may be in them a long time. 说不定你会留在车子很久很久的时间呢. Now, the interesting thing, 很有趣呢, is that rut has a double meaning. In English, 它的含义, 它的意思呢, 是至少是有两个啊. Okay, every time Americans hear this anecdote, what is an anecdote? Well, this is a funny word, isn't it? Anecdote. What would anecdote really mean? Anecdote is sometimes like a story, or 軼事, or something that is not scientific, 没有经过这个科学研究的. It's a personal story. Sometimes I think we use anecdote as a personal story. So this is a personal story. It's not very scientific, right? Okay? But when Americans hear this anecdote, okay, they think of two things simultaneously. 同时它有两个了解. Okay? A rut, of course, it says here simultaneously, okay? Simultaneously means 同时, 同一个时间, okay? A rut is a deep track, almost like a ditch. 有一点点像一个水沟，刚才你看的这个图画, okay? Left by the passage of cars over a certain piece of road. 就是说呢，有一段路，这个车子 就一直开那边呢，那么慢慢的就会这个凹下去，OK 变成我们所谓车辙 ，OK，a certain piece of road，一段路，OK，路段 ，OK，but rut has another meaning， OK， 另外一个意思呢 ，and what is that? It is a fixed routine， 固定的日程。You know what a fixed routine is? If every day you do the same thing, every day you do the same thing, well then that is a fixed routine. And so, you know, every day, stop laughing. You're not supposed to be laughing. Okay, every day you are in a rut. So it's just the same. But a fixed routine or course of action 是行动，每一天的行动是一样 ，OK？ But 特别是看来 especially regarded as take a look at it dull 很枯燥 and unrewarding 徒劳无益的 Wow, pretty heavy Chinese. I even remembered without looking at my notes. Okay, so that's what a rut is. It's a real thing, and it is also a fixed routine that's very, I was going to say boring, but yes, it is kind of boring. And every day is just the same. Just like, you know, for instance, I brush my teeth every day. Every day, all the time, exactly the same. Okay? That is, you could get into a rut, especially if I do it wrong. Then it becomes a rut. 但是有一个习惯也不一定是不好。But if you get into a rut and you're doing it not in the right way, then you are in a rut. Okay? So now you understand that when he said here, choose your ruts carefully, you may be in them a long time, there's more, we say in English, more truth than poetry. That means it's 不是一句好话. It is really true. Sometimes you get in these habits and you just never change. Okay, when I first read this little story, I was writing some encouragement to young people about choosing their marriage partners carefully. Okay? So, when I first read this little story, 我刚好那时候是写一些鼓励给年轻人. Okay? Again, remember, I was a principal, high school principal. So I'm always encouraging people to, make some changes. And so let's take a look here. If we can get the next slide up here. I was writing some encouragement to young people about choosing their marriage partners carefully. 要好好选他们的这个婚姻伴侣 marriage partners, okay? 婚姻伴侣 or marriage partners. But the simple way of saying that is choose your wife or your husband carefully. Okay? So I was writing about it. So I saw that, actually, that's pretty good. And I thought that was very appropriate. Do you know what appropriate means? Appropriate. 很恰当的. 很恰当的. Okay? Okay, nowadays, going on. Nowadays, divorce rates are very high. Nowadays, divorce rates are very high. Okay, divorce. 这个离婚率. Okay, 离婚率 are very high. Okay, now, the next sentence is, maybe a little bit hard, so you need to understand the background. 要明白这个背景. Okay, trading one's mate, okay, mate 就是配偶, okay, in on a new model seems to have swept our world by storm. Okay, 这个里面有很多这个习惯用语. Okay, first of all, trade in. Okay, if you buy a new car, many people will give you money for your old car. 你要买新车了，你可以把你的旧车卖给他，他可以把一些钱减掉，所以你的总价钱不是那么高。Okay, so that's called a trade in. Trade in. Okay, so in this sentence, I am using that same idea to trade in one's mate. 要把你的配偶换 Okay, a new model, 新的型号 new model, a new model car, new model telephone, okay, new model wife, okay, okay, 看起来好像 seems to have, okay, now you have swept our world by storm. 这个也是一个习惯用语，一个 we just say 我们的一个说法 ，OK， 这 swept 平常是扫地to sweep， but in this case it means 穿过 ，OK， 穿过全球 by storm 是暴风雨，but in here to sweep something by storm mean 是这个很 how do you say a lot of this is happening. A lot of this is happening. So all around the world, everywhere in the world, this is happening to sweep our world by storm. 当暴风雨来的时候，它的影响力是很大。So many people are trading in their wives or husbands for a new model. 这个不好，说实在是不好。I believe that when a person gets married, they are married for life. Okay? You carefully choose your mate. Last night, I was on the MTR. Well, in Hong Kong, MTR is 地铁，这个是地下的这个火车。Okay, so here I am on the 地铁. Now, Mrs. Ash, she was sitting over on the side, but I was standing. She was sitting. Somebody looked at her beautiful gray hair, and she said, "Oh, here's a lady with gray hair. Oh, please be seated." I had a gray beard, but they didn't let me sit. I had to stand. Okay, so right beside me, literally right beside me, I mean, they were that far away from me, was a young couple, a young girl and a young boy. And I didn't want to watch them, but they were just, they were just, I thought, oh my word. Okay, at this point, 老校长 starts to worry, okay? And he says, okay, are they really careful? Are they really serious? Well, let's continue on here. It is my personal belief that marriage is a lifetime commitment, 承诺，是一生的承诺，一生的承诺。Even some wise men from ancient China going on here. Some wise man from ancient China. That's funny. 白头偕老. Okay, meaning that one's commitment, one's promise, 我们这个承诺呢 to one's spouse, 对你的配偶 should last until 要保持到什么？到老 and of course 头发发白. Okay, I don't have very much. My beard, it has a little bit of white in it. Okay, going on. Many marriages that begin with lofty hopes, with high emotions and lofty hopes, seem to get stuck. Okay, here's this word stuck. 现在好像刚才你看到 stuck in the ruts of daily living. So many marriages, 很多这个婚姻okay, that begin with high emotions. Okay, high emotions, 崇高的情感. Actually, probably 狂热的情感. Now, last night, those two young people, how old do you think they were? You didn't see them? No. Everybody else was like, like, and I kind of turned my way the other way, as a little bit. You didn't see them? Mm-mm. Oh, my word. We have to check your eyesight. Everybody else in there, they were just going like this. Oh, it was embarrassing. It really was embarrassing. Okay. So many marriages begin with high 狂热的情感 and lofty 过高的期望. Okay, lofty hopes. 期望 seem to get stuck. Okay, 过一段时间 they seem to get stuck. 就陷在 the ruts of daily living. Every day is the same. Every day it could get boring. We were walking down the road last week in Hong Kong, and we were just looking at the people, and it looked like they're like this. And I said, oh my, did you see any really happy people? I didn't see any really, really happy people. So, when you start with these high emotions and lofty hopes, after a while it gets stuck in these ruts of daily living, 一般生活 very boring, always the same, and so on. Okay, now I want to share with you, Mrs. Ash, you want to come over here one more time?
Okay.
We need to, by the way, notice she has white hair, right? Right. So that's good. Okay. Now, would you read this last one? When my dad was teaching me, what?
When my dad was teaching me the rudiments of carpentry, he emphasized
Measure twice,
and
cut once. Okay, now rudiments. Okay, rudiments, this is a pretty heavy word. Okay, 基本技能啊. Rudiments, 基本技能 of carpentry, 木工. My father was a very talented person. So even though I became a teacher, nevertheless, he taught me many things about carpentry and so on. And here's what he said. We're running out of time. He emphasized measure twice and cut once. 要两次 and 句子句 one time. Sometimes the temptation is to measure once, and then you can only cut once, and you make a mistake. So, spend some time. In the last sentence, what does it say? Read it.
marriage is one of life's most important decisions. Making a careful choice or careful decision is very important.
OK， 婚姻是人生最重要的这个决定， so you need to make your decisions very carefully. Hey, we've run out of time. I had too much fun. So we're just going to have to come back again. But you can check us out on our website, the Old Principle website, and come back again for another lesson from the Old Principle.
Right.